We still aren't invited to play at those shows, those cool Brooklyn shows.
You moved to New York for the drums, or was it that first the drums, then you moved to New York, right?
Well, I was living in Brooklyn. Jake had been living in Florida. So to start the drums, I went down to Florida.
You went down to Florida?
Yes.
But then you moved both back to New York?
Yeah, we went to Florida and wrote a bunch of songs. And then after 6 months, we moved back to Brooklyn. I kind of dragged him along reluctantly.
Yeah, because why did you want to go to New York? If that's, you didn't really like the music scene there, right?
Yeah, but we had already sort of written our EP and our album. So we kind of had found ourselves. Now I feel like we could write a record in New York because we found who the drums are.
Yeah, but moving to New York wasn't like, we didn't move there to be a part of the music scene. We sort of moved there with that more old-fashioned idea of being in America, and if you want to get people's attention, you go to New York for music, and you go to Hollywood to get in the movies, you know. So
the old-fashioned romantic idea of like the American dream.
Yeah, which probably doesn't really exist, but we sort of just...
We like to pretend things exist that don't.
we pretend things exist until they do exist, you know. I mean, that doesn't really exist in New York anymore, but we just played so many shows and we begged everyone to let us play wherever we could, and we took every show that came our way until we created our own world in New York, and kids would start coming just to every show, and you know, we found one or two other bands that played similar music, and we'd ask them to play with us. So
sort of built our world from the ground up, you know. But now, you know, we're going back to New York in a few days, and it's exciting kind of knowing that there's, for lack of better words, a scene there now that we sort of have made for ourselves. It's something really comforting to kind of just fall back into, and you know, where before we really felt like such outsiders, and I'm sure all the kids in our small world are still outsiders, you know. We're definitely not embraced by the Brooklyn scene.
Yeah. You're giving that a place now, right?
Well, we kind of have...
giving that a place, those people.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like we still aren't invited to play at those shows, those cool Brooklyn shows. We just have to set up our own shows or play at shows that don't really make sense or whatever, but we're fine with that.
I think a lot of those bands just never got us, and probably never will, because they never really understood what we were going for. Like, why would you write a 2.5-minute song about, you know, being best friends? Like, that seems so topical and silly. But to us, it's so much deeper than that, and it really excites us, you know.
They think because we're not, like, abstract, we're kind of, like, cheesy or something.
Maybe. That's our perception.
Yeah. Maybe they just don't like us as people.
Maybe we should ask the other people.
Anything's possible.
Interview them out, asking them out.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's different though in the UK, for example. They do get you there, I guess. Do you get that feeling?
Seems to be a lot of excitement.
Because if you weren't picked up by NME and BBC, do you think anything would have happened for you at all?
Well, kind of already did. I mean, just signing with Moshi Moshi was a bigger thing to us than we ever thought would happen with this band. So, you know, like such a cool, respected label, and, you know, putting out singles on vinyl, it's like, that doesn't really happen in America anymore. So it's just like, it seems like such a cool, like, old-fashioned sort of thing. So I think just having a single song pressed to vinyl by the drums was sort of, that's all we thought really would ever happen.
Yeah.
So the fact that all of this is happening is pretty surreal for us.
And it is kind of the American dream now, I guess.
Yeah.
You kind of made it. And a lot of famous people and people that you admire come to your shows. Like Morrissey the other week.
Yeah.
I read.
Yeah, that was cool.
How was that? Yeah. Did you actually talk to him, or?
We didn't meet him.
No. We just heard he was there.
You heard it. You didn't see him.
No, we were too busy getting ready.
Yeah.
Preparing for the show. You know, it's like that type of thing where it's, you know, you respect these people, but it doesn't, for us, meeting someone like that isn't very exciting.
Isn't.
It isn't. Yeah. I'd rather just like talk to kids who are interested in sort of like what we're doing, or kids in bands that we really like. That's more fulfilling than shaking someone's hand that, you know.
Yeah.
And there's also that whole side of it where, you know, these people are sort of your heroes growing up, and, you know, Edwin Collins and like all these people, you know, you have this almost perfect image. You have all these years to sensationalize the person that they are, and then you meet them. And in the case of Edwin Collins, he's incredible and very sweet and all that you would want and more. But, you know, other heroes of ours that we've met, you know, you realize instantly they're just a person. It's just a person, you know, who've done some really cool things, but, you know, when the first thing your hero asks you is, you know, hey, can you get me some Coke? It's just kind of like, I don't know. Suddenly they're thrust out of the heavens and they're just a man on earth who's just as lost as anyone else.
Yeah.
I guess there's something nice about that, but I like to pretend that some people are perfect.
It is exciting to know that like Morrissey came to our show, like someone who you kind of idolized when you were a teenager. There's something sort of gratifying about it. It kind of maybe tells you you're sort of doing the right thing. You know, if someone you admire so much thinks you're doing something that's worth paying attention to. But as far as meeting him and hanging out or whatever, you know, I'd rather not bother him. He's a busy guy, we're busy guys,
Yeah.
so.